Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Just Keep Swimming podcast. This is your host, Adrian Jackson, and we in the studio again for another great day. My boy Donovan Jackson. Bro, how we doing today?
We're doing great, bro. We're about to have some good dinner after this, but this conversation is going to be enough. I'm going to be filled.
Filled with the conversation, I feel you. Filled with knowledge. You know, cause brain food, ain't no food like brain food, brother. That's how I feel about it. So today in the studio, we got a very special guest with me. As you know, Donovan, that's my little bro, but I got big bros in the house today. Yeah, salute him. OG to the fullest, Mr. T's Mac itself, Mr. Trivion McKenzie. Bro, how we doing?
Oh, I'm good, man. Yo, I'm happy to be here. Thank you to the gods and ancestors for having us here today, and let's put on the show.
Right. Nah, amen to that for sure, bro. I'm excited, man. Yeah, I'll sit the sliding couch. Cool. All right, brother. So the reason I brought you here today is so we can have a great conversation, of course. And, you know, I've been looking up to you for a long time. You know, I just want to say I appreciate you for everything you've done for me, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be on this journey right now to even make this happen. Because, like, you know, a long time ago, and if you remember, you gave me the book, Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil.
Yep.
You know, and that was the first time I ever heard Napoleon Hill, you know what I'm saying? And that book really took me to another level, you know. It really helped me change a lot and really start focusing, start thinking more, and really start considering the thought that, yo, I have a mind and I can use it, you know? So I just want to thank you for that, bro. I appreciate you for even putting me on. I appreciate you for being here today. I appreciate you for everything you've done for me, man. So we about to have a good night. We about to get it right.
Oh, it's all good. You know, I appreciate it, and you know, I respect the gratitude, and you know, thank you for you know, taking the book and for reading it and actually, you know, doing something with it, and you know, I've given out books before and they might have sat on the shelf, you know. So
right,
like,
exactly.
So the fact that you took it and got something out of it is enough for me. So
right. No,
cool.
I feel you on that one for sure. Like, I got books. I know I handed them out, and I still haven't gotten them back yet. I have no idea where they at now. You know.
Facts.
I got 2 of them.
Exactly. So we about to dive into it right now. So the reason I brought you on today, bro, is to talk about something that I feel you'll be spot on for, which is creative imagination. You've been, you know, making music for a very long time. I know you had me back in the studio back when I was 16 probably. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Loco days.
Exactly. Louis Gang. You know, FAM 101. Shout out.
Hot box.
Exactly, but you know, you've been doing music since then, bro, and your vision is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Your creativity, you come up with all these beats, all the shows you've done, all the records you put together, all the artists you put together. You done so much, you know what I'm saying? Producer, engineer, shoot, you can rap yourself, you know, like, your creativity's on 1,000. Nah, don't shortchange yourself.
There's some stuff in the stew, bro.
Man, he goes off, right? He goes off, bro. So, like, you can't be mad at him.
He went off on no beat. Crazy.
Come on, man.
Exactly. So, I just want to talk about your creativity and how, you know, you become so creative. Like, you know, when did you notice that you were this creative? Like, how did you understand that you were just creative?
You know what? That's a good question. I said I was gonna come in here with an open mind and not, you know, no expectations, and just kind of listen to what was had. But yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting that. But yeah, I think as far as so what's the phrase that you call it? Creative
Vision, creative imagination.
Okay, so creative imagination, creative vision. Yeah, so, you know, it's interesting because I started in band, right? When I was in 6th grade, I started doing band. 7th and 8th grade, I made to symphonic band, and so you know, you learn sheet music and you learn the fundamentals of like what music is, and that kind of like that's not necessarily the creative process. It's more technical, right? But in learning that, you know, you start to improv, right? You got the it starts at like the lunch table, right? When you're at school and beatboxing on the lunch table.
The old grinding beat, yep.
you know, whatever, you know, you got the pencil and you got whatever it is, and it's like those beats have always kind of just it was just kind of there low key, right, from being a drummer, because when I was in band I was a percussionist, right, so you know we played, it was the bass drum, it was the snare, it was the, you know, the timpanis, and you know, the triangle even, or whatever percussion we can get our hands on, that's what we played, right? So sometimes you had to be creative and improvise within the parts, right? Because at times, like within the music itself, there may not be a part that's written for you, right? So you know, the sheet may only call for the bass drum and snare and maybe one other auxiliary instrument, but then you come in and you're like, okay, well, I want to play timpanis to this, so now I got to tune the timpanis to the key of the song, right? So that's like the first, the once again with the technical side, right? Learning the fundamentals of it, and so you have to tune those timpanis, and then you have to kind of come up with a pattern that doesn't interfere with what the rest of the band is doing, right? So like, you know, once again, I started 6th, 7th, 8th grade, right, with that kind of training, so to speak, for me, and then, you know, and then once again with the lunch tables, and then like even like doing certain family events and stuff, playing piano and playing different things, playing different melodies that I would learn, whether it's a Rugrats theme or Power Rangers or whatever. So you just kind of start, you know, you just want to do it, right? At a certain point, you know. So once I got a little bit older,
it like felt fun, low-key.
Yeah, absolutely. So like once I got like, you know, I think when I was in the 8th grade was when the Chronic 2001 came out, right? With Dr. Dre.
Exactly.
And I'm dating myself a little bit, but like, you know, I feel like when that CD came out, it was dope because, like, I never heard music like that before. Like, I never heard the clarity of music like that before. Right. Like when I heard that album, it was like it was a whole like movie or story, right? You know, with some of the certain skits, like the club skits or the porno skit or whatever it was. It was like, oh my gosh, like I could really visualize myself in these scenes and in these places, right? And then, you know, from Dr. Dre, like coming out with projects like that to coming up with The Wash and other different movies and them kind of moving on, it kind of like gives you that vision, like, okay, well, look, I could do it too, right? Friday came out, and but you know, there was I mean, Friday was a little bit before that, but either way, it's like you have artists that are transcending and doing different things and doing movies, you know, Ice-T and all these dudes, you know, they started off doing the rap, but then they transitioned to something else, right? So yeah, that's kind of like where some of it, I guess, originates from. Even like Russell Simmons, right? Like Russell Simmons is like one of my like mentors and people I look up to, like as far as like celebrity and with the whole deaf movement. You know, I've always respected what he's done and like just how he's moved and what he's done for music and just for entertainment, period. And sometimes it's not about, you know, playing an instrument, right, or pushing a button, or being artistically creative in that sense. You know, sometimes you can express yourself in different ways just by, you know, connecting people together.
Exactly.
You know, or to me, once again, it's all about. I'm just thinking about everything that creative expression means to me, right? Like when you come up with that. So I don't know. I think as far as a process, like how I would express myself or how I come up with like creative moments and vision and stuff. Like I was telling somebody the other day, like sometimes for me, I need a little bit of something to be inspired, right? So I have to, you know, so it's all about inspiration, right? It's all about like, just, you know, whether it was the Star Wars Mandalorian episode you watched, or whether it was like, you know, something you heard or something you saw, whatever it is, you know, my kid doing something, you kind of catch, you know, you live your life and like you let certain things inspire you, and then you use that to kind of, you know, propel you. Yeah, exactly. What you want to do, right?
No, I like it. I like it. That's good because, you know, you can get inspiration from anywhere. Like, I think my favorite scene of inspiration was always the Goofy movie. I don't know if y'all remember the Goofy movie when they were driving in the car, and then everybody was quiet. But then you know, the keys were jingling, and then as the keys were jingling, the thing was bouncing, and the beat started coming, and then Goofy was like, "Oh, I can hear the beat. Let me just make a song right now." And he just went out of nowhere and just made a song. You know, open road. You know what I'm saying? But no, I love it, bro. It's the idea that you get inspiration from everywhere.
Absolutely.
So, so this kind of leads me to my little next idea on imagination. So Napoleon Hill talks about how we have two ways of being creative. You have one, synthetic, and two, true creative. Synthetic is the idea that you get inspired from other things. You know, you take two things that exist already and you put it together and you make it work for you. And then true creative is the most rarest form, and that's when you create something that's 100% brand new, hasn't been thought of yet, doesn't exist at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, from what you're talking about, a lot of creativity is synthetic pretty much. Like, inspiration comes from so many other places. Like, you really just see inspiration at work, watching your kids, watching TV, you know, stuff like that. So I guess I was wondering is, how do you take that inspiration and turn it into, you know, the creative part of it? Like, you know, how do you see, you know, Nathan playing around and that makes you like, something Nathan does or some sound he makes you like, oh man, that's like a cool little beat about to happen, or
what, even at that point, inspires you to just make something in general. Like, what is that transformation process to, something as abstract of watching your kid do something, but how do you even transform that into an idea that you can create and show?
I think to kind of answer that question, and even when you talk about synthetic creation versus true creation, right? I feel like it's all about immersion. It's all about really throwing yourself into a situation or into a circumstance, or circumstance don't have to be bad circumstances. It can be a good circumstance, but you have to put yourself into position where you're constantly in that moment, right? Which allows you to once again draw on your inspiration from what you've seen, but then if you've like been in something for so long, you start to get ideas that are based on like what you've been doing, because you've done it for so long. You see that like other people are doing the way you may be doing it, so that's when your true inspiration comes in. Because I'm like, well, wait a second, I can you know, I can do this. You know, I can come out with this. You know, so
make it better.
I can make this better, right? So or it could be like you know, something you may have learned. Like so for instance, just to kind of like give you a tangible example, right? I've been an engineer for a while, right? I've been recording music for probably over 15 years now, producing and really just manipulating waves, right? At the end of the day, regardless if you're using Pro Tools or Ableton or Fruity Loops, whatever you're using, you know, Reason, Logic, whatever you want to use, it's still a wave. A wave is a wave, you know. It's all about the attack, decay, sustain, and release, right? It's a wave. So that kind of tells me that like everything is all made of the same stuff, right? Because anything that any wave, right, that is generated, whether it's synthetic through a synthesizer that you play, or if it's through a beatbox or somebody singing, right, the human instrument, right? Regardless of how you, you know, translate that particular wave, it is a wave.
Yeah.
Right.
So to me, with that idea in mind, I think about vibration and I think about the energy that we all possess, and so which allowed me to come up with. I mean, I can't necessarily say it's original per se, but like I felt like I can produce my own tones that can heal people's bodies and heal your aura and your mind just through frequencies, through through basically healing and feeling these frequencies and hearing and feeling the frequencies, you'll be able to heal your chakras, right?
Right. It's like
we have our 7 major chakras.
Right.
So I basically programmed 7 records to influence each particular chakra.
Right.
Yeah. So and that's once again, like, people have done that before, so I can't say it's like super original, but at the same time,
you made it yours.
Yeah, exactly. I've made it my own, and based on the study that I've done, I made what I felt like
the tweaks need to be needed, or the upgrades.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and there's a couple other ideas and stuff that I have that I felt like when it's just to kind of throw it out there, like I got an idea to basically change the frequency of music, the way you hear music, the way you feel music.
Right.
The basic A frequency is at 440, which basically means that like it's detuned. Everything that we're used to hearing is detuned.
Yeah.
And we've been hearing music detuned for so long that we've kind of accepted it.
Right.
But there's basically a way that you can. Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Bro, well, since you're using your lingo in like the music production terms, and like me being in orchestra too, and like knowing what you're talking about, it's different. It's different. Like, if I hear orchestral pieces and they're like really good and they're in tune,
you feel
there's a whole different reality shift.
Yes.
And that's like when you're in, and that's just.
Yeah, like you said, you feel it different. It's more in tune with your body. It's in tune with the natural harmony of your body. And what happens is, once again, we listen to these different frequencies so much.
Right.
It like makes us all rigid. It makes us, it makes us act a certain way. Yeah. It gives us
thirsty or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I want to change that with an app or with a product that can take the music that you've been listening to and give it a proper tune.
That's
deep. I like it.
That's a beautiful idea.
That's great.
Right.
That's
so so to me, that would be like a true idea to me.
True idea.
But that's taking years of engineering and time and full immersion and exactly. So,
no, that makes sense because like you said, Mr. Hill, the way he describes it is Edison did the light bulb, 10,000 fails.
Yeah.
And then finally, boom, popped up. You know what I'm saying? And that right there would be synthetic though, because light bulb already exists. But then with his original idea, it was something, I forgot what he made, the phone or whatever the hell he made. But his next project, one try done. Because all them fails and tries and all that stuff, that repetition, he built it up. Yeah. And he learned so much, like crazy.
An interesting idea from that too was like, okay, after you have so many fails, you gain experience. And nobody's human experience is like any other. So at some point, I feel as you go through life and you really take whatever it is you got to do to make something new, I feel like we're all bound for true creation.
Yeah.
We got to just take the L's with the lessons.
Yeah, no. Like, it's exactly what it is. You take whatever you're using right now and you take your tool and you start to form your tool better and better, and soon that tool is going to be
true creation.
Exactly what you need it to be to get you to that, like you said, that outlier position, that next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
I fully feel. So, so now let's talk about, how does imagination or like creativity work with others? Do you ever feel that, sometimes it's difficult trying to be creative with others, or it's actually more easy? Because I know you've been working in the studio for a long time. A lot of artists probably came through, and they've been, some people's probably been super super amazing creative, like Ogino, so people like those, Flash, stuff like that. But I'm sure you have people that come in there and it's like, you're trying to be creative and they're not willing to bend or break or something like that. So I guess I just want to look at the little head butts that you run into with creative, trying to be creative.
That's an excellent question. I feel like, so as an engineer, right, people come up to me and they're like, oh man, I like the way you mix. I went to so-and-so and, they just, they're about themselves, or they didn't give me what I thought I needed, or whatever it was. And whenever people come to me with that story, I just kind of chuckle inside because like I know what they're looking for, and really what they're looking for is somebody to listen to what they want.
Right.
So what happens is like, when we're all being creative, everybody has different like wants and what they feel their vision is, right?
Right.
So it's up to us to listen to other people to understand where they're coming from and like what their vision is. So I always try to give myself an opportunity to, just listen and try to be that medium between the artist and the machine.
Right.
And that's where my creativity comes in.
Right.
Because I have to like, translate, right? And through that translation is you have to be creative. You have to find ways to give people what they want, but then still give people what I have to still give myself what I want, but I want to give the other person what they want as well.
Right, because at the same time they're paying you for it. So.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I might have an idea, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to do that, or so I'm like, okay, cool, and so I just move on. I don't take it personal because at the end of the day, it's their product.
Right. Yeah.
So as far as like, if I'm like working on a project with someone else that may not necessarily be paid, or it's still the same sort of thing. I want to like listen to the other side.
Idea.
Exactly, and we just kind of talk and discuss and just hash out something within like what exactly. We just need to find a middle ground, right? We need to find a middle ground. Find somewhere mutual where we can both stand and both be happy with what's going on. It's not always about my vision and my idea, and then if I feel like I do have a better idea, or if I feel like something can be done, I need to explain why it's better, and not just say, oh, this is better. Fuck you or whatever. You know what I mean? It has to be like, okay, like this is better because X, Y, Z. Right. A, B, C, D, and E. And right. Okay, now I get it.
Right. But and it's not like you shot them down though. It's kind of like you took their idea and you just retwisted it. You know what I'm saying? You just took their imagination. Like, okay, I'm gonna run it with mine, and boom, I got this out.
Exactly. Whenever people are like, "Oh man, thanks that you did that, man. I don't know how you did it." I'm like, man, I couldn't have did it without you. Because if you never put that out there, then I can't manipulate it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have your vision. I'm just trying to bring your vision to life.
Right.
So that's it.
That's good. That's solid. That's really solid.
That's how I come into making this podcast and mixing it and stuff like that. It's just like, well, bro, what do you want?
Right.
Yeah.
Right now, you did ask me that. Yeah. You asked me that a few times.
Yeah. Every time. Like when we talk on the phone, well, okay, well, we can do it this way, that way, but what do you want? And then I can just make it happen.
And kind of one more thing to kind of touch on that, like when it comes down to clients and engineering and stuff, I have two modes, right? I have I'm using computer terms. I have master mode and I have slave mode. So in computer terms. So basically, if a person is just like, oh fuck it, do whatever you want to do, or do this, I don't really care, then I go into master mode and I produce the way I feel like something should be.
Right.
Based on like what I've heard in the past, And that's the thing, like I love music and I've listened to so much music that like I usually have a reference of something that like I've heard or like something I want to possibly do to a particular record just based on the reservoir. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But if a person like knows what they want and they're like adamant about stuff that they want, then I go into quote unquote slave mode and basically just try to give people exactly what they want based on the parameters of my equipment and based on like the I can say parameter, but based on the
limitations of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you do so much. They might want something that like, oh, I ain't got that. Sorry, bro, I ain't got that. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I fully feel you on that, bro. I fully feel you on that. So so I was just wondering, when it comes to being like more creative, definitely like your own personal projects, how much does enthusiasm and emotion come into play? Like, like how enthusiastic do you really have to be? I'm sure some people, they want to be creative, but they're not, oh, I'm just doing it to do it. It's like, how much emotion do you really feel you have to put into your projects for it to really be true creativity?
Man, it's a saying they say, what you put out is what you get back, right?
Right.
So the more you put into something, the more you're gonna get out of it.
Right.
So like, if you just sit there and you're like kind of lame duck and you're not really putting your full potential into what you're trying to do, then you're only gonna get that. So if you're only putting in 10% of your potential, you're only gonna get 10% results.
Yeah.
So if you put in 100% potential, you get 100%. So yeah, I think most definitely you need to have a spirit. But I will say that there's a certain amount of consistency that we have to give ourselves, right? So like when we wake up every morning, we may not feel like quote unquote making a beat or doing whatever it is, So you have to. It's up to you to like do it, even if you don't feel like doing it, and you have to trick yourself, right? You have to trick yourself into doing what it is that you think you don't want to do. So like in other words, if I know I like making beats, but there's a morning I wake up and I'm like, oh man, I don't really feel like any beats, or I don't like necessarily have any inspiration, I'm still gonna like use I'm gonna use my allotted beat time to listen to some samples or to go to crate dig, try to find something that gets me inspired to make a beat, and then after an hour or so, if nothing works and shit, walk away, just don't waste your time trying to force something that's not there, right? Yeah. Because that's like that that Kanye song, Can't Tell Me Nothing. When you try hard is when you die hard, right? So I've always taken that to heart, like, if you're trying too hard to do something, you probably shouldn't be doing that shit.
Right. You gotta get back to it.
Yeah. You gotta let the inspiration come to you, and that's where like you can't force inspiration. You can't force creativity. You gotta make it and take your time with it. If you, like you said, you get what you put out.
Yeah, absolutely. But but once again though, like I feel like over the last 60 days or so, I've been giving myself opportunity to wake up in the morning to actually make beats or to kind of get in that path. And although I haven't like made them every single morning, I made them a lot more than I have in the past, just because I've given myself the opportunity to do it, right?
Right.
So because it's like we can wake up and play video game or watch a YouTube video, or there's 1,000 things we can do, but what should we be doing?
Exactly. What's gonna get you to the next level?
Yeah. So like if I'm not putting my effort and my time and my passion into like the thing that I want, then it's never gonna happen for me.
Right. No, exactly. Because like I said, every morning, like I said, I wake up and listen to this man for a little while, or somebody similar to him who's at least talking on the same level. You got your Napoleon Hills, you got your Earl Nightingales, your Bob Proctors. Like you got so many people out there that's just talking about this logic of your mind is so powerful.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, let me keep learning more and more. It's always something I learn. I learn something new every day. Guaranteed. Even though I'm doing the same thing, I'm learning something new still.
Period.
Yes, sir. So now based off of that, right? I want to talk about. Have you watched the movie Soul yet, bro?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes,
bro. Man, that movie is bananas, bro. I'm like, what are they showing us right now?
It was deep, right? It was deep.
This is crazy. yeah, for sure.
So I want to ask you, based off the movie Soul, remember the part where they talk about getting in the zone?
Yeah.
Have you ever felt the zone?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So that's consistency right there now.
Yeah, for sure. You have to give yourself opportunity to get in the zone.
Right.
Well,
So-
how do you get into the zone for you?
So for me, my process, like I wake up, you know, get a cup of coffee. I might smoke some weed or something. You know, just all depends on. Usually I smoke a joint, drink a cup of coffee, drink some water, do some yoga, you know, to get my body moving, and then like I sit in front of that computer, right, and it's like that. Sometimes I have a beat in my head, so it's like a pre-zone, right? So like sometimes I'm having my cup of coffee, I start hearing something. That's like almost getting into the zone for me, right?
Right.
But then like when I go and actually make the beat, you know, as I'm laying down melodies and I'm trying to find what it is, you might hit a chord that like, you know, makes you feel a certain way, or you might just play a little melody that makes you feel a certain way, and then you let that feeling kind of like take you over. You have to like I said, immersion. Yeah, you have to like really fall into that feeling,
Right.
and then that's when I start getting my inspiration to do more. You know, so I'm gonna add this, I'm gonna add this, I'm gonna add these, and then that's where my beat. That's where it happens. You know.
That's nice.
So even too like when I'm engineering, right? So like, you know, I do podcast shows. I've been doing like live TV show stuff for at least like 4 years now, right?
Right.
So like, and then even before that, like, you know, the UNLV stuff. Anytime I'm like in front of a console or a computer, and there's a show happening, there's this like space that I can get into where like I'm not really concerned about like what's happening around me, or even like the humans, quote unquote, in the particular show.
Right.
I'm just worried about the show itself.
Right.
So that whole feeling of like getting sucked in to make sure that everything is good, but staying in that, to me, that's the zone. You know what I mean? So like, depending on what the event is or the content or whatever, it may be easier to stay in that particular zone. But for me, that's why I engineer. That's why I love doing it, because it puts me in the zone.
Right.
So I'm able to be in the zone every day. So that's why I do it every day.
No, that's real, because you know that takes me back to when I used to you know, host parties and events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like when you get into the zone, like working the event,
Yeah.
you don't hear the DJ no more, really. Like you hear it, there's music back there. You know the music's
Yeah,
playing, but it don't
yeah.
bother you. You know, it's not loud no more. Everybody I speak to, I can hear them perfectly. Like nothing's bothering me. I'm handling problems left and right. You know, like I'm just flowing, and then I'll be like, damn, what time is it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, time
why
is
am I
relevant.
leaving? You know, it's just
Yeah.
time. But I was in that zone. You know what I'm saying? I was flowing. You know, it keep going until I actually get a spoon to, okay, let's stop and check out the scene now and actually see what's popping. And then you be like, dang, I did this just now. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy. That look back. When you get to look back at it, and it's like, oh wow, I was so zoned out that I didn't even realize how much I just did.
Yeah, exactly. So and you know, I've heard sayings basically like, when you get into that moment in the zone where it feels like, you know, all this time is going by, but you're not realizing the time is going by, we're technically not aging in that period.
Deep.
Fair.
Deep.
Hold on.
That's deep, because you're not worried, you're not stressing, you're not. Yeah, that's deep.
You're in the moment.
You're in the moment.
You're
in.
in the moment.
So you're not aging. Yeah, there is no age coming off of you, because you're not worried about the time ticking on the clock. You're not worried about all that. You're just worried about being there.
Yeah. Wow. And high key, like, that's why I love doing the podcast things from my end. Because it's like, yeah, I'm hearing y'all. I'm kind of butting in every now and then. But, like, my eyes are on that computer just making sure things are going right, and like having my ear kind of listening to the music, making sure it's not too loud, but it's I don't feel anything in terms of time. It's just I'm here, I'm listening to what's being said, and I'm making sure things are going well.
No, that's 100% because I feel the same way now. I think about it because I'm sitting here speaking ways I never spoke before. Talking very intellectually, but I'm zoned out. Like I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm really trying to make sure I connected with Triv right now, and hosting at the same time, make sure I'm answering my questions and trying to make you think as much as possible. Yeah. It's fun being on the other side of it. You know what I'm saying? You still blow my mind though, and I'm loving that. Like the idea I'm not aging right now.
At all.
Yeah, at all. Because I'm just zoned out. Yeah, I'm just zoned out. I'm deep. Yeah, y'all can let that marinate for a little while. We can probably put a little pause button for a second. Hit pause and come back. No. But all right, bro. So I'm just gonna keep flowing with it. So my next question goes towards education. Then, what do you do to continue to educate yourself to, stay creative? Like, a lot of people just think it's supposed to plop out. What do you have to do to educate yourself still?
I think it's all about. I've always been a hands-on learner. I'm visual first and foremost. So like whatever I see, I learn. But then I like to be hands-on, right? So I want to be able to feel and
dive right in.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think anything I've ever learned, I've watched somebody do it, right? And just kind of analyze how they did something. Even when I got into engineering, I didn't go to school per se,
right?
But I went to different studios, and I was fortunate enough to where my uncle owned a studio, so I was able to be an apprentice there. But then, after a while, once he didn't have that studio, I had to go all around the city and go to different places and meet people and talk to people and figure out what their styles were, figure out how they tracked and how they mixed and what their templates were, so I went all around, like literally I went to probably 20 different studios around town, whether it was paid session or I went with a friend or whatever it was, whether it was on a trip to LA or something, I'm in the studio somewhere, I just made it a point to try to get in there. Before I could really get in the studios, this is like kind of pre-YouTube a little bit, but like I would find tutorials, right? So like I would try my best to just, find whatever information I could about engineering, right? So if it was a Steinberg tutorial or if it was, Pro Tools for Dummies or whatever it was. Yeah. So like until I can like really like get into a studio, I would just find stuff about studios, right? And just always think about it. And then, after a while, and especially after reading Napoleon Hill and stuff like that, I started like low-key having like little mastermind meetings and stuff in my head with and just like talking to the different engineers and different, like Dr. Dre and Timbaland was in there and different people were in there in my mastermind group that I created, and I would just like kind of have these meditation sessions and kind of talk to them and stuff. But I know it sounds kind of crazy saying that out loud, but
it makes perfect sense to me. Like you said, I learned it. I'm practicing it myself. So
and it's crazy because like I don't like necessarily I'm not at where I thought I would be 10 years ago per se, but I still feel like I'm in a perfect situation and like I feel like I'm learning, right? At the end of the day, I'm always feel like I'm learning and I'm growing, and like even like so for today, to like keep learning and to keep growing, I have it's basically other engineers and people that I talk to, right? So so at Junction Studio or Junction Sound where I've been working at, there's a team of engineers there that's dope. Dawson, he was one of my apprentices, but shit, he's surpassed me beyond now, and he's recording Wanye and from Boys to Men and recording he's doing all kinds of stuff, so So shout out to Dawson and everybody at Junction. But
Junction.
yeah, but like, you know, we'll have different meetings. Like I you know, you guys
we was
came
there
there one
Wednesday,
of those, yeah. So like, it's one of those where we'll have these meetings and we just talk about mixes and we talk about what's going on. And so like, that kind of like keeps me in the loop, right? It keeps me aware of the new plugins that are out and aware of the new techniques and strategies. And you know, I've gone on trips before just purposely just to learn from somewhere else, right? So I'll literally go book a session with somebody, with an engineer. You know, I'm an engineer myself, so you know, I would just take an artist with me or something, and he wanted to get his records done. I want to see how these people do whatever. So, you know, me and the artist had that relationship to where we could go out there, and then I could go and learn from someone else who's in the industry. And, you know, so to me, that was like, you know, that's how I learned the most, right? And so now it's with YouTube and stuff, YTU and all that, it's like, we do whatever we want now. It's like, you know, if you feel like you want to be in somebody's session or you want to learn something, you know, there's videos out there. There's those situations out there. I mean, it ain't quite the same as being there, but I mean, I tell you what, you just close your eyes and imagine sometimes, like, it might feel like it.
Exactly.
So and then you let that feeling lead you to your next objective, right?
Right. Nah, that's real. That's real. You got anything for him, bro?
I'm just mind blown, bro. Like, I didn't have anything for this episode, to be honest. But I was like, there was a couple times where I tried to get in that zone and it just wasn't working out for me, so I had to just back up for a second. Just back up for a second. But luckily we had Triv, and this is his music playing right now, Gas.
Right.
But it's just crazy to really dissect that creative mental processing for when you're making something. But like the whole idea about it and how it connects to how you live in life too. And that's where I get most of my inspiration, to be real. Like just going through life, and then once I come back and sit down, whatever emotions or waves that I've absorbed in that time, like let me transfer it somehow on the computer program. So
exactly. No, and that's real. You take what you experience in life and you're running with it.
And you know, just to kind of add to it, right? I feel like, you know, I got 2 kids now, right? You know, my oldest son is 3, and my youngest is 5 months right now, right? And to me, that experience has taught me more than ever about being in the moment. And because I think at the end of the day, we have to find what our moment is, right? And not worry about, you know, what happened to us before or what's gonna happen to us in the future, right? Because, you know, that stuff isn't really here yet. I mean, the past is already gone, future's not here yet, so we have to worry about the present, you know, the moment now. So I think, like watching my son run around, you know, he doesn't care about anything about except for what he cares about at the time, you know. So if he wants some chips, he's gonna ask, "Hey, Daddy, can I have some chips?" Or whatever. I'm like, "All right, here you go." Or no, not right now. Whatever it's, or if it's you know, I want to play on the top, I want to play a game, or I want to do this, or I want to read a, or like he may not even tell you he wants to read a book. He'll just grab the book and come sit on your lap, and it's like, "Daddy, look at this, look at that." So he doesn't care that I'm playing Dragon Ball, or he doesn't care if I'm playing, you know, Mad or whatever, or if I'm making a beat. It's like, no, he wants to read a book right then, because that's what he feels like doing at that particular time. And to me, there's something like special in that, you know, because you know, once again, he doesn't have to worry about, like, he's not worried about bills. He's not worried about where he's gonna stay. He's not worried about security and you know, retirement, and you know, he's not worried about any of that. It's really just survival, right? Survival, entertainment, having fun. So you know, as a parent, I have to make sure I teach him the tools that he needs to succeed. But overall, it's like, you know, like as an adult, I feel like I need to have that in the moment mentality,
Right. Learn.
and you know, you have to learn from your highest, not necessarily learn, but you have to always go for your highest excitement, right? Whatever excites you the most at any particular moment, do that.
Right.
You know, and that, I feel like that'll lead you to where you want to be, right? Because it's like, you know, and I'm not saying, you know, go shoot up heroin because that's exciting to you, you know what I mean? Full disclaimer, I'm not, you know.
Right.
So it's not about like addiction. It's not about, you know, that sort of thing, but it's just about, you know, living your life and being excited about what you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
If you're not excited about what you're doing, then why do it?
Right.
Because it's, at the end of the day, it's your choice. You know, you can choose to do whatever, regardless of what happened to you, what your situation is. You know, it's up to you to change your situation based on, you know, negotiation and based on your mind, right? Your positive mental attitude. You know, so you gotta keep going. You have to keep focused and stay aware that you're aware. You know, so to me, that's what God is, or that's what you know, the universe is, or that's what connects us all, right? The Force, you know, the Star Wars calls it the Force, or whatever. Whatever you want to call it, it's just the awareness of being aware.
Right.
If we can all have that and just know that we're here and we're breathing, you know what I'm saying? Like this is who we are. We're here. We're connected.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
So
that's real.
And
wow.
That's real.
Yeah.
I say all the time. You know, sometimes you gotta just go take a walk in the park and just hear the birds and the trees and realize, like, yo, I'm alive right now, and you know, I'm experiencing this thing called life, and this is my only one. I ain't about to get it back.
Yeah.
You know, and just go out there and just see how it feels. Take your shoes off and sit in the grass for a little while and just breathe and just like, you know, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. This is my world. This is where I'm at right now. And you know, peaceful you are, the more peaceful you're gonna see the world for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I just took up disc golf. You know, I've been playing that for like the last year, and that's really been helping me get in tune with nature and stay grounded and to start to be in the moment as well. Because once again, when you're just out there throwing that disc and you're in nature and you might hit somebody, so but you know, at the same time, you're just focused on throwing that disc.
Right.
That's like being in the moment, right? So once again, like, you know, I feel blessed and fortunate to be able to like find activities and things that, you know, excite me and my spirit and like, you know, give me the spark, right?
Exactly.
To keep moving and keep going. And so, you know, I just follow that and let that guide me to where I need to be.
No, and that's good. You're gonna be exactly where you want to be, where you're supposed to be. So last question for you, brother. What are you still working on? Of course, you're on the Just Keep Swimming podcast show, so we gotta ask, like, where are you still swimming to? Where are you still trying to get to?
I think, you know, like I told you guys about the app idea earlier, so that's something I definitely want to attain. I'm looking to, you know, eventually at some point, like have my own production company where I put together different shows and, you know, have entertainment events and just like some digital events and exactly. So full production company. So I'm gonna work on that. So I'm definitely swimming towards that. But then too, overall, just trying to just once again be in the moment every day and get into a rhythm, right? Because I feel like you know, a lot of our world is based on impulse. You know, like you get that like or you get that notification on the phone.
What you're doing
you get that email, you get that phone call or text message. So we make everything about everybody else, and we stop caring about ourselves, and then that's when we lose ourselves, right? And the whole lost soul thing from Soul. That shit, Soul was deep, man.
It's coming full circle now.
Yeah, it was so deep, man. Yeah. And you out there in the desert, bro. You one-eyed monster in the desert, bro. Just out there floating because you gave yourself up. You know what I mean? Or you got so immersed into some shit that like
they can't see up.
Yeah. So you know, because I've been there too. Like as far as you know, being so fully immersed in making music and being in the studio, like sleeping in the studio and all that shit, like not even like showering and stuff like that. It's like at a certain point, it's like, bro, you gotta go home, man. You gotta take care of yourself. You gotta take care of your family. Call your family, call your friends, man. Like it's not all about, you know, just your studio, your passion to be in the studio. You know, the studio can wait. You know, so you know your work will always bounce back to you, right? But your family, like your friends, your spirituality, that stuff is fragile. So you gotta like really keep, you know, you have to keep that balance, right? So that's like what I'm swimming for is like more balance and trying to, you know, not give up myself too much, but at the same time, you know, be humanitarian and help out, give back. Like I want to find you know, a charity to work for, to give to. So there's a couple I have in mind right now, but like either way, just find ways to give back, but at the same time give to myself. So that way my kids are good, and that way my girl is good, and that way like everything is straight, right? That way the family's good, and then you know it all everything reinforces itself, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, just learning some more of these principles that we weren't necessarily taught in school, right? Like we weren't taught about family in school. We're not taught about finance. We're not taught about like, you know, really how to interact with people. Right. You know, it's just like, okay, here's this information. Okay, here's a test. Do you know it or not? Okay, you don't know it, you get an F. You know, if you do know it, you get an A. It's like if you kind of know it, you get a C. It's like, what is this? You know, like, you're not even teaching me anything. You're not teaching me how to work in a group, and you're not teaching me how, you know, it like. It's not always about. It's not always about like being on my own and doing everything on my own. It's about the team. It's about the family. It's about the support system. Yeah. So if we're not, you know, like embracing our connections, then like I think we're losing.
No, that's 100% real, bro. I feel that's when I really felt college really opened up for me, like more my junior, senior year, because I started doing more group projects, and then, you know, I started connecting with people just outside of my normal people I'm hanging out with, and it's like, yo, the city just opened up big time. I'm seeing different things. I'm learning different things. I'm, you know, drinking with random white boys between class, like, you know, stuff like that. Like, life just opened up, and it was like,
absolutely.
Man, it was crazy. It was really crazy, man. But, nah, bro, I love it, man. I feel you dropped some major knowledge today. And before you walk away, I gotta ask you, do you got a quote or anything you want to share? I know you shared a lot of quotes already. You blew some minds, but you got one more quote for us before you walk away? You know, quote you've been working on, something that probably hit you lately, that's been making you think a little bit.
You gotta find your one thing, right? What is your one thing? I read the book, The One Thing. Yeah, so you know that's been on my mind lately. Finding the one thing. I think the 4 agreements, man. At the end of the day, regardless of whatever I'm doing, if I have a foundation, right, and that was like my first foundation that grounded me, right. Like I read Think and Grow Rich, and I read a few books about philosophy or just about how to do things, but the 4 agreements is what like really grounded me and humbled me and showed me that okay, like there is another way to do stuff, you know. Right. So, so just I'm not gonna explain them. I'll just say them real quick. Number 1, be impeccable with your word. Number 2, don't take anything personally. Number 3, don't make any assumptions. And number 4, always do your best.
Yes, sir.
So.
Nah, look, you know me, I got it on my wall.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So I'll just kind of, you know, like that to me. That's solid right there. Like if you haven't read it, go check it out. The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's a dope book.
Yeah, it's
you know
really
that
small too.
It's
fast.
small. Yeah, it's a fast read. You know, you can listen to it in like an hour basically if you want to listen to it.
On YouTube, real talk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like listen to that. Like if you feel like you know you need something or you need a way or whatever, I would start there and then once again, follow your highest excitement.
Yes.
Whatever you're excited about, do it.
Right, definitely at the moment.
But don't do drugs.
Right now, I feel you, bro. I 100% agree, man. 4 Agreements, bro. Solid book. I've read it. I highly recommend it as well. I think I probably read like 2 or 3 times. So, yes, sir. So yeah, bro, man. I just want to say I appreciate you for being here with us today, man. I feel you just blew some minds. You know, we probably went over a little time than we usually, longer than we usually do. Sorry, people, but hope you guys learned something. I know you learned something. If you ain't learned something from this conversation, you ain't listening. I'll tell you that one.
Right at the moment.
Exactly. So, Tease, man, I want to say I appreciate you. Do you want to shout out your Instagram page or anything? Or you want to just throw in the bio?
Yeah, it's all good. Tease Mac, TZMAC 702. People call me TZ Mac. It's cool, you know. TZMAC 702 on every platform. Yeah, Room Service Radio is where I'm working at right now, doing my thing. So, yeah, shout out to them for giving me an opportunity. And, yeah, I appreciate you guys again for putting me on the show. It was definitely a pleasure. Sorry if I went over.
No, you're all good, bro.
Yeah,
it's
but
all good.
yeah. Thank you guys again, and this is definitely good, man. This is good work.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, bro, man. Like I said, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for you. You know, you really helped light the torch for sure. You know, you really pointed that way. It's like, you might go check over there. So
The mentor.
yeah, the mentor. You know, the mentor. He showed me the light, and I started running. So it worked out, man. I appreciate you, bro, on getting on here today. Donovan, you already know I appreciate you, brother, man.
Of course. Same here.
Solid engineering, of course. Beats on fire. Make sure to check out Donovan and Triz Beats. I'll have everything posted in the bio, so please make sure to check that out. Make sure to subscribe, share it with your friends, share it with your family. Anybody you think need to hear this, just let them hear it, you know? Let them ride with it. And for everybody listening, I just want to say thank you for the continuous support. I appreciate it. I hope you guys learned something. Hope you have a great day, great afternoon, and an amazing evening. And remember, just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Swim, swim, splash, splash.